Well, really pleased with how our football team responded. It was a gut-wrenching loss last week. It spilt our guts and played extremely hard in the game, and just never really found a way to get it moving offensively, get a stop on defense. And you're always, as a coach, when you go through that and you see the hurt in the locker room at the end, you're worried about the next week, regardless of the circumstance, situation. I want to thank our fans for an unbelievable environment, another sellout. But to come back here and I thought played a very clean game from the standpoint until late in the game defensively, that was embarrassing. But I thought offensively we established the run well. We wore them down in the third quarter. We ran the ball at will. Defensively, just huge plays with turnovers, and it's hard to win. I told Brett that at the end. I mean, you can't win with those turnovers and be able to turn over and score scores off of that. So extremely proud of our football team, the way we responded today, and I'll open it up for any questions.
Raise your hand. We'll get a microphone to you. Middle here.
Will, you got some guys back on defense today with Sawyer and Nixon played and Montague. How big of an impact did that have on the defense and the way they performed?
Well, I think we need to start playing more and more snaps as the season wears on. I was talking to a couple of players this week. How do you feel? Well, I'm probably about 90%. I said, you're never going to be 100% this time of the season. That's part of it. So understand that, and to be able to get those guys some quality snaps. And Keeson made a fantastic play on the interception. Steven, wish he'd gotten it out on the third down there on the over route there late, but gets the ball. He gets his hand on the ball. I mean, he knocked the ball off the guy on the Wildcat run and had an opportunity for a turnover there. So to have those guys coming back healthy, obviously Dante helped us a lot from just a juice standpoint, a guy that gives you some quality snaps and some toughness. And this was a good game for us defensively from a standpoint of the two-back challenge and not seeing it a lot. And I thought Tavares Robinson and our defensive staff had a really good plan, and our players executed the plan.
Josh.
Can you remember a game a defense of yours scored 3 times?
I don't think I've ever. I don't think it's happened before. I think I've been around 2, but not 3. So it was. And if Jam scoops it up, we got 4. On that other one. Steve Fink corrected me when we got in real quick on that to make sure. Wonder if we were working on scooping and scoring. So.
How validating is that as a defensive coach? That's sort of the idea.
I don't care what kind of coach you are. You can be a field goal guy. It's good. And I hadn't been real good at those. So.
Coach, do you think that was your most complete defensive performance of the season so far?
Well, again, I think it's all relative to who you face, and I thought one of our best performances was against Louisiana Tech, and nobody wants to hear that, and they feel insulted about that. They got a really good offensive football team. We did a fantastic job that day. Arkansas is just a little unique in what they do. They've got a different approach to how they run their offense, and so again, I was just very pleased that we were able to fit the runs as well as we fit them. We had one run come out on our sideline. David hit the stretch play on our sideline, about second or third series maybe. And then past that, I don't know that a run came out. I mean, that was a 23-yarder, and past that there's a quarterback scramble, and then they hit the Hammonds kid on the reload on the speed sweep for 12 yards. Other than that, we didn't give up anything in the run game. So that's a marked improvement from where it's been.
You sort of answered my question, but they came in averaging 205 rushing yards a game. How big of an emphasis was that in practice this week?
When you play a team like this, it's going to be methodical and huddle and limit possessions and go to the line of scrimmage and check the looks. And you got to fit the runs, and you got to stick your face in the fan and like it. And I told our players all week and really challenged them to put their big boy pads on and get ready to go play, because it was going to be a run game, play action game, boot and naked game, and we were going to have to hold up in those situations. And then we had the opportunities, especially early in the game. I think they were 2 of 7 on third down in the first half. So getting off the field on third down, and the 2 third downs they converted was a 3rd and 2 and a 3rd and 1. So they're both manageable down in distances.
Coach, Rico had a really good game today. Do you think that has a lot to do with him just being a little bit healthier this week?
This is the first time he's been healthy since NC State. He took a good shot in the Missouri game on the first drive on a swing pass, and he got hit again on it late in the La Tech game. We drained his quad on the Friday before A&M. I didn't even think he was going to make the trip. He said he wanted to try it. I asked him in pregame last week. He says he feels pretty good. We tried him a little bit. He wasn't great, but this is the best he's looked going into this ball game this past week. It's an issue when you have a quad contusion for a running back. It's going to hurt. And he's battled through it. He hasn't missed practice time. He doesn't complain about it. He's trying to push through it, but it's hard. So this is the first time he's been healthy.
You mentioned worry and how your team might respond after Texas A&M. Conversely, could a game like this help loosen everybody up and maybe spark something?
I don't know that from a standpoint of I think we've been pretty loose. I think that I don't know that in our first 6 games I've ever questioned our effort. I really haven't. I mean, I don't know that I've questioned our buy-in. I don't question our want to. Has it always been exactly what you wanted? No. I mean, let's just cut to the chase. But from an effort standpoint, our guys give effort. You know, our guys go, I don't turn the tape on and be disappointed like I was at times last year in how we competed. You know, our guys have a little competitive edge about themselves and what they try and do. And so from that standpoint, as long as you get consistent effort and then you play with better toughness, which we have, and I think we've improved from game 1 to game 6, and then you play a little smarter, with a little more discipline. And we're the least penalized team in the SEC, and that goes a little bit into discipline. Not that that stat has anything to do with winning games, because it doesn't. But play a little smarter in situational football. We need to play better in the fringe areas of the red zone. We've stumbled again a little bit in the first half offensively there. We've got to convert those into 7 points. We got to play much better on third down, which we did tonight on both sides of the ball when the game was on the line. You know, a lot of these were, trash stats at the end. You guys like?
Will, talk a little bit about the defensive line. Javon Kinlaw also got in there, and I thought made some big plays for you, kind of a run-stopping kind of guy.
Well, Ulrich and Javon are both big men that are hard to move if they'll play with the right kind of pad level. So that's always a concern when you start playing double teams and you start standing up and taking it in the face. And when they're able to play behind their pads, they can be very effective. And I think for the most part, I did not see them get displaced much tonight. Of course, I'd like to watch the film first. Taylor Stallworth is a really good inside player. He's an outstanding inside player. He's played well all season. He'll continue to play well. I think Kier Thomas continues to play inside and outside along with Dante to provide depth for us. I saw Aaron Sterling in there a lot. Dennis Wonham always plays well. So, I mean, I've been very pleased with how those guys have continued to progress. We look like we were running in the sand pit rushing the passer there in the fourth quarter. We got to get better pass rush out of them guys.
Coach, Jake missed on some throws early, but once again he came up with a couple of really big ones at the end of the first half. How did you think he played in those instances?
I wish you would have hit Hayden on the corner out there, but throw to Brian. Let's go let him make a play. And Jake understands that, So, again, I'm glad he's our quarterback. He's a gutsy performer. Our guys rally around him. There's a lot of intangible things that he touches within our organization that, makes him a special player. And the guys really have rallied around him moving forward and have been very pleased.
Well, you said it's still a work in progress when you guys get in the fringe and in the red zone, but how much does 150 yards on the ground help today in the offense
again,
moving
it's just
the ball?
balance. It creates balance in your offense, and it creates a little doubt in the play caller on the defensive side of the ball. They may actually run the ball here, but we were very effective running the inside zone, the divide zone today. A lot of times when teams are strictly a 3-down team and you create a C area player, it creates some softness in that. And I thought Kurt Roper and our offensive staff and Eric Wolford and Brian McClendon and Pat Washington and Bobby Bentley did an outstanding job of designing to get to those runs to create some window dressing on the overhang defender with the speed motion, which obviously displaced the overhang defender in a lot of situations. And that's really was key to the run game.
Well, Hayden tonight with 2 catches, obviously the long touchdown, but the run, another jet sweep, and the jet sweep that he had against Missouri. How important is it to get a guy like him, a playmaker like him, the ball, no matter how you're getting him the ball?
Well, it's not about plays, it's about players, and it's always been that way. And we call pressures to get Sky Moore going on defense, and it may not be the most pretty-looking pressure versus what they're doing, but we're going to get number 10 rushing. So those are just things you think about as a coach. You get away from thinking about plays, think about players. But, that was a really well set up by our offensive staff. We've run the inside zone very successfully in the first quarter, sometimes not so much, but a hard play action fake down the middle. They're playing split safety coverage, and Hayden gets on top of the linebacker. Well-thrown ball, and Hayden finishes on the play.
Well, how important was that touchdown drive right at the end of the first half? There were some wacky things that happened in there, but, how important was it, and what kind of a spark did that give you going into the locker room?
Well, we wanted to get the first down before we went fast. We had plenty of time, and we had 2 timeouts. So there was no hurry. The worst thing we could have done is left time on the clock, punt it back to them, and let Austin Allen have another shot before half. So let's get the first down. Let's manage that, which we did, and then we're going to go fast, and we still had 2 timeouts. We had plenty of time. I mean, I don't know what wacky you're talking about, but
12 on the field there for a second.
No, that was dumbass. That wasn't wacky. It's inexcusable coaching is what it is, and I'll get it corrected. That's on me.
Health-wise, how do you come out of this game with especially Sherrod and Dennis?
I think we're fine. I don't know. Casey had the ankle. I have not gotten a report on that yet, so we'll continue to look at that. Clint, I asked him coming in here. I said, "We okay?" And I said, got to look at Casey's ankle. And that's all I know.
You had Dennis go down, but you also said Blake Camp earlier this week should get some more snaps. How do you feel like he did in the offensive line as a whole after last
I like
week?
to watch the film, but I just listened to the coaches on the headsets. But they felt Blake did a really nice job. He's certainly a guy that's very dependable in playing multiple spots and doing a really good job for us. And Dennis just had a cramp. He was okay, so that was nothing serious.
Coach, you spoke about how proud you are of the effort, the buy-in of the team continuously. 4-2, obviously a lot different than 3-3 before going on the road now in SEC play. How rewarding is it to see that buy-in continue to be paying off, especially before a big test?
Well, first of all, we inherited some really good young men when we came here. I mean, really, you talk in terms of Hayden Hurst and a lot of those guys that were a part of this organization that have, Terry Gouger and guys that just Sky Moore, Bryson Allen Williams, Dante Sawyer, Taylor Stallworth. I mean, they're all good people. And they want South Carolina to win, and they want to get it done right. So they, instead of being resistant to a new organization, they've really bought in, just like our seniors did last year, and they've really brought along the new players that have come in, and some of those guys are playing major roles. Sherrod Green started for his first time tonight. Brad Johnson's been a starter in our Rabbits package for the last 2 weeks. So there's Jemias has been starting for us. Shy and Ortrey are both getting touchdown catches and starting games for us. So again, there's a lot of young guys involved with that, but it's sometimes there's sometimes friction between an older player and a younger player, and there's none of that in our organization. And they're bringing them along, and it's been really good. And we got to continue to build those recruiting classes together.
Coach, at times it seems like either the offense or the defense was leaning on the other side of the ball. I know the last couple of weeks it seems like the defense has been kind of stepping up and the offense leaning on them. But how nice was it to see them not lean the offense, that is, but to be able to feed off the energy the defense was providing, especially in that third quarter? Well,
There's no question. It gets demoralizing for a team anytime you get a strip fumble type situation to be able to create a long score, get more momentum, get the offense back on the field, and we were going to run the ball at that time. We were going bound and determined to run the ball. So very rewarding to be able to be in those situations and be able to try and finish the game. Being able to run the football, and so there's no question. Good teams feed off each other, and certainly I think our guys have done that.
Between Sherrod and Daniel, obviously working in a couple guys in that position, but your front seven, did they exceed your expectations in how they stood up to the power that Arkansas can bring, and if so, how much?
I expect them to play well.
Looked like you guys were really trying to force the issue in downfield passing. Was that just a result of some of the one-on-one matchups on the outside and what they were giving to you?
Some shot plays?
Yeah.
Well, I think that in a lot of situations, and I'm not going to get into schematics, but when you're getting any 3-by-1s, they were overloading the coverage away from the X, the single receiver, and we had a lot of one-on-one shots, and we wanted to be able to hit those going into the game. I'm trying to think back in my mind, just kind of, we hit the deep ball to Hayden down the field, but there was a couple shots we had dialed up outside based on them shifting their coverage to the 3-by-1 set. That was just a game plan situation we felt like we wanted to try and take advantage of.
Will, you said during the week that for Parker, you may not put him in a position to kick such long field goals. I know some of his misses have been 50-plus in the 40s. What went into the decision to put him out for 49? Was that just a case of giving him a chance to redeem himself?
Well, again, a lot goes into how he's kicked throughout the week in pregame, and we felt really good about where he was. And, again, I got a lot of confidence. I think you got to continue to have confidence. When we're moving the ball, we're having opportunities. We're not finishing some drives like we want to, but when you get in those field goal situations, take a shot and see what the guy can do. He's got the leg, and he's got the leg swing and all that. We've got a lot of things ironed out within what he's doing. We got to continue to give him. It's a long season. We're going to need him to kick some kicks for us, and you can't go for it every fourth down. We're going to go for it on a bunch, but we can't go for it on all of them.